in example 2, we have Paulino who runs a landscaping business, and he needs to cover an area that is 10.8 meters by 9.5 meters with 10 centimeters of topsoil. So we want to know how much it will cost if the soil costs 18.75 or $18.75 per cubic yard, and it's available in multiples of half cubic yards. All right, so he's covering an area. So we've got this area that's 10.8 meters by 9.5 meters, and he's covering it with 10 centimeters of topsoil. So he's filling this up with topsoil, and this is 10 centimeters, which there's 100 centimeters in a meter, so that would be 0.1 meters. It's a tenth of a meter. Again, we can do this a couple of ways. Always good, and we can always change our dimensions to yards right away. Or we can figure out the volume and change the volume to yards. And I think we're going to do it both ways. So let's do the dimensions first. So we know that 1 yard is 0.9 meters. So 10.8 meters, meters are on the bottom, so they have to stay there, is how many yards? So x is equal to the things that are across from each other, so 1 times 10.8 divided by the thing that's across from x. So 10.8 divided by 0.9 is 12. And then, so this is my 10.8 meters. The 9.5 meters, again, 1 yard is 0.9 meters. How many yards is 9.5 meters? Whoops, meters. Again, 9.5 times 1 is 9.5 divided by the thing that's a diagonal from the x. So 9.5 divided by 0.9 gives me 10.5 repeating, so 10.6 yards. And then my 0.1 meter, well, again, 1 yard is 0.9 meters. How many yards is 0.1 meters? And x is going to equal 0.1 times 1 divided by 0.9. I shouldn't be using x for all of these. 0.1 divided by 0.9 is 0.1 repeating, so it would just be 0.1 yards again. And then we could say the volume, because we want to fill this up, how much space it'll take, plus we're also buying it in cubic yards, so that's a hint, we need volume. It's a rectangular prism, so the volume is the length times the width times the height. So 12 times 10.6 times 0.1. 12 times 10.6 times 0.1, that gives me 12.72, and this is yards cubed. Okay, now the other way we could do it, or we could say, well, our volume is length times width times height. Length is 10.8. Width is 9.5, because now we're doing it in meters, and that's by 0.1. So 10.8 times 9.5 times 0.1, that's 10.26. But that's meters cubed, and I need yards cubed because that's how I buy it. I must be buying it from the States, or maybe just a place where they're selling it in only cubic yards. So 10.26 meters cubed, well, one 1 yard is 0.9 meters. 1 yard is 0.9 meters. I've got to get rid of 3 meters. 1 yard is 0.9 meters. So I've got 3 meters here. I've got to get 3 meters on the bottom. So 10.26 divided by 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9, because these are all on the bottom, so it's actually 10.96 divided by 0.9 cubed. So 10.26 divided by 0.9 cubed gives me 14.1. We'll go 14.1 cubic yards. So you can tell our answers are actually off by more than I'd like them to be. This is 12.72, this is under 13, and this is over 14, so that's going to be quite a difference if we're paying 18.75 per square yard. This one's going to be more accurate because, well, in a sense, this 0.9 isn't exactly accurate either, but in the end, we're kind of rounding less. But I would accept either answer. So anyways, let's keep going here. We're going to keep going with both answers. So here we've got this in yards, here we've got this in yards. So now our cost is $18.95 per square yard, and we combine multiples of half yards. Well, here, in this case, we would need 13 cubic yards because 12.5 wouldn't be enough. So we know it's $18.75 for 1 cubic yard. How much is it for 13 cubic yards? So x is 13 times 1875. 13 times 1875, and that gives me 243.75. In this case over here, 14.1 cubic yards, well, 14 cubic yards isn't going to cut it. I'm actually going to need 14.5 cubic yards. So same process, 1875 for 1 cubic yard. How much is it going to be for 14.5 cubic yards? Okay, 14 won't be enough. I can buy half yards, so we'll go to 14. So that's going to be 14.5 times 1875. And I get here, now it would cost 271.88. Now, once again, we've got 2 different methods. I will accept both. Both would be acceptable on a quiz. It's understanding the concept. This one over here is slightly more accurate. The reason being, like I said, even though we're rounding with this 0.9 3 times, which we did over here as well, in the end, little things like this being 0.1 instead of 0.1111 repeating doesn't get eliminated in this part here. So this is slightly more accurate. If you can get your head wrapped around this part, the converting cubic yards, this is the better way to go. because practically it's more accurate. However, if you're showing me this work, I will still accept that as correct.